Hello, hello, Essential Stencil friends. This is Grace here at the Comfy Nest with Grace, getting ready to do a live crafting session with you. So welcome, very warm welcome. We'll be doing 3 giveaways today. I call them giveaways. Essential Stencil will give away 3 sets of stencils to lucky live viewers like you. So make sure that you say hello because they will randomly choose the winners from the comments. So we want to say hello to you. We want to be able to greet you. We want to know where you're coming in from. If you're already a huge Essential Stencil fan, we give a shout out to you. We want you to tell us that you're here. If you are new, equal and big warm welcome to you as well. Let us know that you're here as a new viewer. And crafty chicks who follow me over at the Comfy Nest page, make sure you let me know that you're here. You can just say crafty chick here. We're going to do a tag again today. These awesome tags that I have, and I'm going to use, I think I'm going to use 2 sets. For sure, I'm using the Faith 3-pack, which is very sweet. Comes with 3 sets. The size of these are 7 by 16, and the one that I'm going to use says, "It is well with my soul," which I feel like, given all that's going on, it's just really good to have this really sweet reminder that it is all well. It's all good. We're good. Everything's good. It's going to be good. Okay. I have to grab that other stencil. So that's one of the ones I'm going to use. The other one that I'm undecided yet on. We're going to see how this develops, and I might use this one too. This one is called Grateful Heart, and it has all these beautiful design elements and words in it. So I may be combining the 2, so just hang tight for that. The Christmas pre-orders are being taken now. So if you want to pre-order your Christmas stencils, go ahead and do that now. I think, I wrote it down. November 2nd is the estimated ship date on those. So if you're interested in getting some Christmas stencils for your Christmas decor and presents and all that good stuff, make sure you go over and use my code, the Comfy Nest, to get your discount. You always want to do that. It's always good to save if you can. Let's see. I just want to grab this feed, make sure it's working, and I think I'm going to turn that light down again. I really, someday, I've had this light for at least a year. Someday I'm going to figure out how to set it so that it's not too bright for you guys. Okay, hang tight. Let me get this turned down just a titch. This light. Too bright. Too bright. Okay. Who's made the transition to Christmas? We live in this world, especially if you are a sign maker and you make signs for sale, like if that's part of your income. We live in a world where we're usually like a month ahead of everybody else, right? At least a month ahead. Some people are like 6 months ahead to get prepared for the volume that they need to create. Thank you, Dee, for sprinkling. Hello, Miss Ellen. Good morning. Thank you, Jan. You're sweet. Thank you for saying that. All right, let's see who else is here. I can grab these comments and see them better here. Oh, wait a minute, but Facebook, you're playing, won't let me see the comments. Who's ready to do some crafting? This is going to be, the sign that I'm going to make is not seasonal. It's not fall. It's not Christmas. It's just what we call is evergreen is one of the words that you'll hear used. And what that just means is, I could find this live, I could just talk to you uninterrupted. I got the live, but some reason no, come on, comments, where are you? There they are. Oh, good gravy. Thank you, Tracy, for sprinkling. I see you guys now. Thank you, Nancy, for the congratulations. I'm excited. Okay, so this sign today would be evergreen, meaning you could leave it up year round. It's not going to have to come down seasonally. You could use it anytime. So it is well with my soul is what I'm going to use on this. Now, what I usually do, so I'm going to use the white tag. I'm going to leave the base of it white, but I am going to do a color block on it. So what I need to figure out, I think I'm going to do a color block. What I need to figure out is where, like positioning wise, this isn't going to, I want it to be positioned this way, not this way. Okay, so I need to figure out the spacing of my letters. So I'm going to grab my painter's tape right here, and I'm going to start taping off kind of where I think my letters are going to sit. I'll fit them all easily. That's not the issue. It's that just then, depending on how much space I have, is how I'll use the tag otherwise. Because I think I'm going to do a color block. So if I have this starting right about there, and you guys, I don't go super precise. eyeballing it to give myself a basic understanding of how much space I need. Okay, so it is well, it's gonna go on this side. And then on the other side, the other thing I can do, and I do often, is I'll use one of my little charcoal pencils. These, you can use these in quilting too, and just put a mark that way, because I can always erase those off, and that just tells me about where this is gonna go. This isn't, I have to just do 4 lines of the words with my, so my is gonna be right there. And I did this earlier. I did do this earlier, rest assured. However, I wanted to do it in front of you so you could see how I figure this all out, just kind of like what the thought process is. So that means my words, uh-oh, I lost my mark because it's too faint. Oh, good gravy. There's the well, there's my soul. Hang tight, girls, let me figure this out. Different pencil, I can hardly see the marks. Let's just go with a regular pencil. The charcoals work, they erase so easily, but the one I picked just was too light. All right, we got there. So I just want to make sure I have enough room for all my letters without overcrowding everything, if that makes sense. Okay, so I'm taking the lowest point on, and the lowest and widest point on my letters and marking it off. Then I know I need from this point to that. Okay, and then my thought was, once I have the letters on here, I could use this sprig right here, but there are some really beautiful like sprigs on this whole set. Like, I love these ones too, and they're a little bit bigger. So I'm going to decide once the letters are in place what I'm going to do with the rest of it. So that's the plan. Thank you for sprinkling, you guys. Hey, listen, I'm sweltering, you guys. I turned on the fireplace, the gas fireplace in the room next to me, and because it's freezing and there's more snow on the ground here. So give me a minute. I'm going to go shut that off before I melt away. Hold on, girls. I promised I wasn't going to be gone for long. I just had to flip that switch. Otherwise, I'm going to melt like a snowman in front of you. That would not be good. Hi, Nancy from Arizona. Thank you for saying hello. Thank you, thank you. Okay, so colors now. Now I think colors. Now that I know the surface that I'm using and I know about what kind of space I have, I think colors. And I just picked out a few colors. I was thinking it would be really pretty to have blocks of rose gold on here. I just love this color from Folk Art. It's called rose gold. It's really beautiful. And then I picked a brown for the letters, just really basic, right? And then I was thinking the greenery. I have this like light green. It's very soft and pretty. So I pick out the colors. Again, I'm just thinking through all the design elements here. And then I just get started and see how this all comes together. What I haven't quite decided is if this tag is big enough to do the color blocks that I want. Tracy says it's rainy in Michigan. Try that, Casey. That's a good idea. She says it's freezing on her. She's going to try to go through her app instead of the text link. Oh, thanks, Suzanne. She says, I really like how you change things up with the stencil to make it a totally different look, make it you. I am all about that, really. And with all of your craft supplies, really, I'm very much an advocate of thinking outside of the box and using them differently than they appear. And just, that's part of the creativity of it and the fun of it for me. You certainly could find a surface that will fit this exactly the way it sits, but I don't have that on hand. So, and I still want to use this phrase because I think it's lovely. So yeah, it's good to just rethink and reconsider how you might use them and to mix and match the stencils that you have, especially when you have a bit of a collection going. We hope that as brand ambassadors that we inspire you to do that. So thank you for commenting on that. Hi, Miss Michelle. She says, in beautiful South Carolina. Oh, somebody said, OMG snow. Here in Mass, it's mid 70s. was out on errands and had to put the AC in my truck. Elizabeth, I grew up in Massachusetts and I was a runner. I haven't been running lately, but for 20 years, over 20 years, I've been running. And when I moved to North Dakota, it was the first time in my life I could not run outside year round. It's just too bleeping cold here. It's just no other way to put it. I miss the Massachusetts climate, let me tell you that. Okay, okie dokie schmokey, let's do it. Let's get going. I don't know. I am debating about the color. That's the only thing I'm trying to decide is what color to use. And I'm thinking my letters are going to be brown, and I'm going to use, whoa, I had a big bubble right there. I'm going to use the rose gold and the green to accent. Whoa, that's a thick paint. Somebody was asking me today, a good paint for stenciling. Waverly is a really good, inexpensive brand for stenciling. It's a thicker, and I like thicker paints for stenciling. So keep that in mind when you're shopping. You can use almost anything. It really, don't get too worked up over that. But if you are shopping and you can find a thicker formula, go with the thicker one if it's meant for stenciling, because it just is easier. It'll be easier on you. Gotta grab a plate. Gotta grab, uh-oh, crash, boom, bang. I'm gonna get myself, you guys, a t-shirt that says crash, boom, bang, because whenever I go live, inevitably something falls. It doesn't matter. I have stuff leaning all over the place and something always falls. So everybody's healthy and safe over here. It's just a board fell across the room. It was leaning against the door that I needed to get into. I thought I had it, but clearly I did not. Clearly I did not. Yep, go ahead, giggle it up. It's fine. I see all the little laughing emojis. Giggle it up. You guys know me. If you've been around for a hot minute, you know me. Hi, Miss Belinda in North Carolina. Thank you for sprinkling, Miss Lorraine, and anybody else who did. Karen says it's sunny and 73 in Indiana. Oh gosh, blessings to you. That's a beauty. Okay, I'm just grabbing from my lid because there's a lot there. I shook it up pretty good, and so I had a lot of paint on my lid. I'm putting it on the little wedge. Way too much paint right there, girls. Way too much. So you want to come to your plate or your wax paper or whatever you use and offload most of that. Okay, so that you have a really dry amount. It's seeped up into the sponge, but it's not gonna seep and like ooze around on my project here. Okay, so I'm gonna do a little block, like I'm gonna left justify on this side, right justify on the other side. You'll see. And because it is well, that phrase, with my soul, that phrase, neither one of them fit all the way across, so I have to separate the letters. So just be patient with me as we go ahead and we get started. I do not usually tape anything down. I just find it easier to just hold it down with my left hand and use my paintbrush or my wedge or whatever you're using, your dauber, in my right hand, so that it's just faster that way. And I'm all about fast because I got lots of projects in my mind that I want to accomplish. You ever feel like that? Like, I just have too many projects I want to get done. Don't let it stop you. Don't let it hold you back. Get in there and get your projects done, even if you have to do 15 minutes at a time. We're upon the holiday seasons, right? So lots of gift giving and home decor and decorating and personalizing things for friends and family. So just dig right in and get those projects started. Let me check comments real quick. Joyce, if you message me, I'll give you the information on the tag. It is not an Essential Stencil tag, but I can get you that information. So anybody who wants it, just go ahead and message me. I have some on hand. Cindy says you're brave not to tape. I just don't. Most projects I just don't. For me, it's just faster. These little sponges are fabulous. Any makeup wedge is gonna work. This is a specific sponge that Essential Stencils sent to the brand ambassadors to test out. So we're just testing them. They're not available yet, but I really like this sponge. Okay, I need to make sure that's dry before I move on. I don't want to smudge it. So I'm just going to give it a little air, a little bit of heat and a little bit of air from my hair dryer, my old hair dryer. Same thing here. I want that to dry. So I don't want anything smudging. Tony says she always tapes. You do you, girls. Listen, you do whatever, and I say that all the time, like, you know, some people love the makeup wedges for stenciling, and some don't. Some people love to use brushes, some don't. There's no right or wrong. It's just do what makes you happy and what works well for you. So it's really important. Don't compare yourself and what you're doing too much to what other people do. Just take in all of the ambassador's suggestions, take them all in, soak them all in. If you want to experiment and try some of the different methods and techniques that we use, I say go for it until you discover the one that makes the most sense for you. And there's no right and no wrong answer. It just is, if you want to tape, tape. If you don't want to tape, don't tape. It's really quite easy, actually. All right. These wedges hold the paint really well, and they release the paint really well. So I'm happy with this. And the brown, I'm using Truffle Brown from Waverly. I think that's the name of it. I know the name was kind of covered up because my bottle has paint, you know, down the side of it. But if you want to know, it's just a really basic brown color, and I think the name of it is Truffle Brown. You just do this at your own pace in whatever way that works. When I, usually what I do, I can tell that the coverage is really good because I think it's because of the wedge. What I usually do is just hinge this back. I still hold it tightly with my left hand. I'm going to hinge it back with my right to peek at it and make sure I've covered everything I need to, which I have, and then move on, kind of move it around. Since I'm not cleaning it in between, I'm going to make sure it has a nice dry surface before I go back on my project. This is a nice combination of two different fonts. You know, the blocky font with the real scroll, like handwritten font. Renee wants to know the link for the stencils. It's in the description here on the description of the video. And generally, someone will come in from Essential Stencil and they'll give you the link too. It's just essentialstencil.com. And if you use my coupon code TheComfyNest, you will get 10% off your order, which is fabulous. We love 10% off, right? Any discounts we can get. Okay, left justify, which means this one's flush with the left side. I'm going to right justify on this one, on this script, the scrolly font. I'm keeping the letters the lines pretty close to each other so that I have more design space on the top and the bottom. That way, if I want to do that blocking, I can. If I want to block put a block design on here with the rose gold, that was my thought originally, then I can do that. I use the edges of the stencil because they're cut at a square with the edges of my surface to compare and make sure that I'm straight. So I'm just eyeballing it, but using it to make sure that I'm level. Again, I'm not the person, like I don't generally take a ruler out and measure to make sure that I'm straight all the way across. I usually eyeball it, but you guys, I've been doing this for a long time. So if you're just starting it out and it makes you feel better to like, you can take a ruler out and measure. You can use painter's tape to create your line that you're going to place your stencil on. I just usually eyeball it. I am not the girl who's about things being that perfect. I'm just not. I really feel like perfection kind of takes the joy out of crafting and creating for me. So I try to just enjoy the process and focus on the joy of the process, even if I'm making gifts for other people. And I feel honored to make things for gifts for other people, to have the ability to do that, and hope and know that when they get it, even if I'm off a tish and my line is off just a tish, they're going to recognize it was handmade with love. And that's the bulk of the gift in that regard, is that it was handmade with love. All right. I keep having to go back to add a little more, and I'm running out of paint there, so I'm gonna have to get some more paint off my, and so far all I've been doing is grabbing what was on the lid and then taking it to my paper plate and offloading most of it there. And then when I need a little more, I go back to the paper plate because I have so much on there. This gives a nice, rich, deep color brown. Hang tight. When I get this part done, you guys, I'm going to check comments, see if there are any more questions. Any more chit chat that I want to be part of in there? I love that you guys are all chatting with each other and answering each other's questions. All right, let's see. Oh, I can see somebody from Essential Stencil is here now, and they're pinning comments showing you guys the ones that I've used, the stencils that I've used with the links. So somebody just asked for the links, and that's perfect. Great. Uh-oh. What happened there? It is a really nice brown, Tony. I totally agree. It is called Truffle by Waverly. I know it's really hard to see the words there, but that's what it's called, Truffle. I do too, Deb. It's really pretty. Let me check real quick. I'm going to hinge this back and make sure that my coverage is good. It is. It's working out really well. I'll hold it up and show you here. Let me put this aside so it doesn't go anywhere. This is what I got so far. I just love the combination of those two fonts. I just think it's really pretty. Just going to give this a quick hit with some air. That's just to secure, make sure that I don't have any paint that's going to smudge on me on my project. This brown is really lovely. It's really neutral, and it's showing up really well on a white background. Okay, I have my little pencil mark here. Let me grab, where did my pencil go? My little eraser, and I just erase that right off of there. I don't think, oh, I see one more right here. There. The pencil marks are easy to get rid of, especially if you do them really light. Okay, the last word that I have is soul. I'm left flush on this side, right flush on this side. The letter my goes down, so I can't put my L because the L goes up. I can't quite flush it on the edge of the board. I'm gonna have to go over a little bit, and I'm gonna nuzzle it right in here, the top of the L to the bottom of the Y, because the spacing would be really off if I put it directly below, because I just happen to end with the Y, which goes down, and the L that goes up. So because they meet right there, I'm going to move the word soul over just a little bit and nuzzle it right underneath the phrase with my. You'll see when I'm done. Again, I'm using the edge of my stencil, comparing it to the bottom of my board to make sure that I'm horizontally straight. That can be a little challenging with script types, like handwritten looking types of fonts. It can be a little challenging because some of them are at a slant, and that can play tricks with your eyes. If you really, really need to, grab your ruler, and you can even just check the bottom of your stencil and see I'm at 2 inches, and here I'm a little, I'm at 2 inches on both sides. So if you really, really feel strongly, you can go ahead and do that. I actually want to lower it just a tish. Back to my wedge, grabbing some more paint from my Land Offload from my store, and I'm just offloading it on a place that's kind of clean. Make sure I don't have too much on there. Holding it down with my left hand, stippling or dabbing it on with my right. I'm going to need just a little more paint, I can tell, because it's going on a lot lighter. Let me grab some from here. Again, I'm just working it right into that wedge. And you guys, these wedges, I've used them a couple of times, and I like the size of them. I like the shape of them. They hold the paint really well, and they clean up really well. I wash them because I want to get as much use out of them as I can. And they're not, like, I wouldn't throw them out. They're really good quality. I do have makeup wedges that sometimes I just throw. I moved it just a bit. Just a tish. I do have some that I just throw out when I'm done, but this isn't going to be one of them. These are really nice quality. All right, I did my stencil moved just a tish, but it's fine. It worked out great. I'm going to put this aside. So where can I put it? I don't put it somewhere where it's not going to get anything else dirty with paint. And I am so limited in space. Here we go. The wedges, Liz, I had mentioned earlier, we are testing them out for Essential Stencils, so they're not available yet. So we're testing out some brushes and some wedges for the company as brand ambassadors. All right, check it out. That's what I get so far. So see the way I have it positioned. I always like my words a little bit high on whatever the board is. And then I have all of this space down below, and I have a bit of space on top. And that's where I was thinking maybe I would color block this, but I also would like to use some sprigs, and that's why I was thinking this set has some really beautiful greenery that came with it, and I like these a lot. And they're bigger. These are bigger than the ones that came. They're longer. These ones are a little wider, the little sprig greenery sprig, but these ones are a little longer and more delicate, and I kind of like that. So let's pull these out. This set is called Grateful Heart. So I'm going to use the little wreaths from these, and let's see. The Faith set, this set right here, you guys, if you really love it, the set that has it as well with my soul, there are 50 of these left, 50 like plus. So just about 50 or 60 of those left. So if you want them, go out and grab them because they might sell out pretty quick. These one, I think there was 150 of these left. But again, I don't know, Essential Stencil on Facebook has like 55,000 followers. So whoever's catching this live demo who loves these might go out and buy them. Make sure when you do, you use my code, The Comfy Nest, to get your discount. But go grab them while you can, while you have the availability to do that. So now look at, I think I can fit the little sprig nestled in with the words. And then I may be able to do the color blocking as well. I debated between doing just a plain color block or doing the buffalo plaid. So my mind is just thinking, girls. No, I don't really have a preference, Liz. Most of the time, actually, I use the Essential Stencil brushes. They're just beautiful. They're well made. They clean up really easily. They hold the paint easily. These are the ones I usually use, but we're testing out the wedges for the company, so that's why I was using that today, and I really do love it. All right, so I'm going to be able to fit a sprig of greenery here and one here, so I'm going to get those in place, and then I think then I'm going to do the color blocking, but let's see how that turns out first. Maybe I'll just do the color block on the bottom. I'm making my mind up as I go. Does anybody else work like this? Do you work like this? I'm so visual. I need to see it come together before I decide. So I decide as I go. All right, I have it where I want it. Listen, if you want to be really safe, yes, tape it. Okay, my last one did move around on me a bit, so let's get that taped. Okay, I usually don't tape though. I usually just go right in. I need more. My very thin coat of paint that I had on there is drying up in the time that it's taken me to decide. So I need to reapply. All right, I'm going with the brown, and maybe I'll put some metallic on these sprigs of greenery. I meant to do the green. I know what I'll do. We're gonna go with it. We're gonna go with the brown, and then I'm gonna highlight this with some of the gold and the green. So we're gonna use the gold and the green as accent colors. I don't think you can go wrong with one color for all of your design elements, and then adding in other, bunches of color where you want to highlight things. Now, see, I don't have to hold it down. If I'm gonna hinge it back, I can hinge it and look at it. It's just so perfect. Stenciling just makes everything so easy. It's so easy. So I'm going to actually have kind of like a half wreath around these words. I'm just going to use the same exact spot that I just used, so I don't have to dirty two sections of this. I'm just going to make sure it's dry before I go back in. I want the rose gold on here somewhere. It's just so darn pretty. So we're going to get this worked out. I don't know if you guys like watching me make my mind up as I go. That's just the way it goes for me. Okay, I'm just trying to see how I have it positioned around the words there before I come in with this one. Tape is still there. I'm just going to tape it down, and we're coming in with the next design element. Still working from the paint in the cap of my lid of my paint jar. I have not poured any paint out of that jar. You use so little paint when you're stenciling. It's actually the reason why I prefer these really small bottles, because your paint stays really fresh, and you can afford to buy more colors that way if you buy the small bottles. Like, they're usually, depending on the brand that you buy, anywhere from less than $1 to, you know, up to $3. It just depends on the type of paint and the brand. They're very, very reasonably priced. All right, this is going to come together so pretty. All right, we're going to hinge this back and look. See how fast that comes together? Let's take a look. I might have missed just the tip of this one leaf right here. All right, so far, let's see what we got so far. I can take my little tape off that I used. Isn't that pretty, you guys? So far, I love that. Now is the place where I decide, I think I'm going to do a color block of gold down here, that beautiful rose gold. And I'm going to leave the top white for now because, again, making my mind up as I go. Then I can decide if I want to do a ribbon up top, like a bow with ribbons, or if I want to do the color block. I can make my mind up as I go. Thank you. Thank you, Tanya. She's so beautiful. You're welcome, Miss Peggy. Thank you for saying that. Yes, me too. Lucinda says, I truly love that you can intermix the stencils. Absolutely. Jill, private message me and I'll get you the link for the tag if you don't mind. Thank you, Barbara. She says, love it. Okay, let's do a color block. So for the color block, I want to make sure that this is dry because I'm going to use my painter's tape. I'm going to put a line of painter's tape and then I'm going to use the rose gold on the bottom. This rose gold, I don't think it's metallic. I think it is metallic. So the difference being a flat rose gold color or a metallic rose gold that's going to have a sheen to it. That's nice and dry. So again, I usually don't measure, you guys, but you could. Here's if you want it to be really precise. You decide I want my line to stop about right there. So I'm going to put a mark on this side. I'm going to see that that's, you guys, this is how precise I am. It's 3 3/4 inches down plus one little mark because I don't know what that is on the, you guys. If you're a math whiz or a fractions whiz, I applaud you, but don't judge me for not being. That's just not me. I am not a whiz in anything that has to do with fractions or geometry or angles or any of that stuff. This isn't long enough. I need it to be long enough to hit those 2 markers. And I think, let me just double check. 3 3/4 and one little tish mark. So as long as it's the same on both sides, my little pencil marks are going to give me my marker of where to put my tape. And I'm going to put it on the top side so that everything below those marks are going to get painted with the rose gold, even including the marks. That feels crooked to me. In my eye, that looks crooked. Checking my spacing one more time. I think I am off a tish. You guys, this is why I don't get too worked up over this stuff. With a straight line though, that's going to go straight across on your board. It's going to be a little more obvious if you're not right on. I'm even using my nail to hold the spot. I am off just like, you guys, it's one little marker. The other thing that you could do, if you have, I love to give you guys tips like this because I want you to use your craft supplies well. If you have a board, a cutting board that has the 1-inch markers on it, place your surface on one of the lines and square it off. Now I have this painter's tape, it's going to get me all mixed up. Square it off and then use your lines on your board to check if you're even or not. So this is squared off on the bottom and then I have 1, 2, 3 inches and this one's less than 3/4. 1, 2, 3 and this one's at 3/4. So now I'm off a little bit low on this side. So that's the other way you could do it, is use the markers on your board to eyeball your lines. It's just the same you would do in quilting. That's probably the easiest way to do it. All right, rose gold, here we go. Oh, goodness me. Here we go. We need some rose gold. Look at how pretty this color is. And I may even, we'll see how it turns out. And I may even, and that's nice thick paint too. See how it's not like dripping too badly or too quickly off there? That's a nice thick paint. great for stenciling. This may need 2 coats, or I may come in with a different metallic and combine 2 to get like a unique color. Let's just see how it turns out. I kind of like the rose gold, how it's just really soft and pretty. And actually, I'm gonna go, the grain of the board goes up and down. So let's see if I do it that way. I'm going right over the painter's tape. If you have it on there really securely, I kind of like it better this way, you guys. Right now, usually this first coat, just to get it all wet and coated with paint, I don't really pay too much attention to the direction. I get all the paint on there, and then you can go back. Now it's all on there and it's wet. Then if you want to do your strokes to go horizontally or vertically, you can go in and give yourself nice, clean strokes without a whole lot of paint brush marks, if you know what I mean. Now, this is like palette wood, and it has lots of grain to it. So I'm not going to get a super smooth finish here. It's just not going to happen, particularly on the first coat. So I'm just coming in right now and evening out the whole painting, the paint job, making sure I have as few strokes as possible, brush strokes, and then I'm going to dry it, and it's going to take another coat. Definitely going to take another coat. And this is folk art, so that kind of surprises me a little. I got to move my rad because it's in my way, and my pencil. So this is what I used. And actually, it's rose gold, which I think of as pink, and it's not as pink as I'd like it. I'm looking to see if I have any other pinks over there. It's definitely metallic, though. It's really pretty metallic. It is really a more natural, because it's rose and not pink. It's more natural, and it kind of goes with the brown better, I think. But I'm just such a huge fan of pink. I want pink on there. Not of the girly girl. Oh, Sandy says, I wasn't sure what you meant by color block, but I'm loving it. Thank you. Hi, Danielle in Texas. Rhonda says she bought metallic paint at Hobby Lobby, and it was really runny. She says maybe it was old, it was folk art. I don't know, it's hard to tell. I don't think they put dates on these, do they? You got to make sure you give it a good shake, obviously. Oh, it's dry. It's pretty much dry. I'm going to show you what it looks like with one coat. It's not where it needs to be. You can see a lot of the streaks in it, and that to get that to go away, you need to put at least one more coat. But you can see the sheen. See how it leaves a sheen? That light reflecting on it gives it that beautiful sheen. Oh gosh, so pretty. All right, we're going to slap on another coat, and I'm going to show you real quick. You're going to see, just putting on this second coat, you can see where I put the second coat and where I didn't. See how much deeper that color is? And it's going to be more saturated, like the way they intended it to look, like the label on the bottle. Okay, so just be patient. Depends on the brand. It depends on the type of paint that it is, whether you're going to need to put more than one coat, 2 coats, 3 coats. You're just going to have to do it and see. There are so many variables, you guys. Some of you live in drier climates than I do. So your climate and how quickly it dries, how thick of a coat you put on, what kind of brush did you use to apply it, all of these things. How old is your paint? Like Rhonda just said, how old was the paint? Is it old and it's maybe a little dry and clumpy? Or maybe it got thinned out a little bit. You were feeling like it was thick and you added some water and now it's a little thinner than it should be. All of those things are going to have an effect on how it looks. Then your surface, the type of surface that you're painting on, all of those things matter. So just be patient with yourself and let it evolve into what it wants to be, okay? And just let go of the ideal, like the idea that you're going to get perfection, because that's probably, it's not going to happen. You're not going to get perfection unless you do graphic design on a computer. It's just not going to happen. So let the wood do what the wood's going to do. Let your paintbrush do what it's going to do. Let the paint do what it's going to do. That's the art part of it. It's artistic and it's creative, and That's why I like to make my mind up as I go. I kind of have an idea of what I want, but I have to let all of the pieces come together in the way that they're meant to. And then I can decide to make changes to it. I might go with the third coat, girls. I'll show you here in a second. This is taking way longer than the stenciling, but it's okay. It's going to be really pretty. I'm trying to check comments. Yeah, Joyce, you would have brighter. You would have brighter for sure. She says you could put a coat of white underneath first, of white paint, and then paint on top of it. You totally could do that. I really I love the natural look of this wood, and it's grainy. So it's not a smooth, it's not particularly smooth. It's not rough. I don't want you to get the impression that it's rough, but it's grainy. So the paint seeps into some places deeper than others, and I like that. Okay, let's see. I'm going to show you 2 coats. Still, do you see how it's like a little bit, you can still see the paint brush strokes, but look at the sheen, you guys. I love me some metallic paints. See this line right here? That line right there, that's the board. The board has that line. You can see all of the grains, how the paint sitting in the grain, like the grain of the wood, it's darker and deeper in there because it had to seep into there. So you're not going to get a perfectly like, it's not a vinyl sticker, so it's not going to look perfect. The wood is going to do what it's going to do. The paint's going to do what it's going to do. I'm really, I'm thinking of, it's dry. Well, it's a little tacky. Let me add some more air. I don't know. I want the brush strokes to go away a little bit. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to try a different brush. Let's try one of these smoother brushes. Again, your brush, your paint, the wood that you're painting on, they all have an impact on how your paint is going to look. So this is the part about playing, and the more you do this, the more you're going to get a feel for what you like and how to achieve the look that you like. So it takes some trial and error, I guess is the word. You don't get good at baking, right? On the first time you bake your grandma's lemon meringue pie, it might not come out the way she made it. It probably never will, actually, because she was unique in the way she made her own. Every time you make the recipe, though, you're tweaking it more to your liking. It's the same thing with painting. It's the same thing with creating. You just have to tweak, and you just have to create and let yourself be free and let the process just happen. I'm liking this paintbrush a lot more for this. I want this to be like a solid metallic color block. As solid as it can be on the back of a palette board, sitting on top of a palette board. Okay, now checking for coverage. I'm gonna dry it again and see what we got. Gail says she loves it. Yes, a roller would work too. Yep. Mary says, I can already see a difference. It really is just a matter of patience and letting it happen. I really like it. This is good. This is much, much better. We are almost done. Let me show you what it looks like now. I'm sure it's not exactly dry yet. But look at that metallic, you guys. Look at the metallic. So pretty, that sheen. And the coverage is definitely better. See, it's still a little wet. You can see that right there. That's wet. It's way better than it was. So it took 3 coats of that. And that's folk art. So it's not Apple Barrel. I mean, it's not the top of the line, but it's not the cheapest one you can buy either. Let's get this to really dry. I have all these gorgeous ribbons picked out. I'm looking over at my ribbon. I feel like I need a brown ribbon. Oh, it's so pretty. So pretty. Okay, this is what we have so far. I like the way that is. So I was debating, you guys tell me, I was thinking about doing the color block on the bottom and on the top. I feel like I should frame it out, both top and bottom. Tell me what you think. Hold on, we're gonna tape this off. I'm using my board as my marker. Top and bottom, what are you guys thinking? I do too, I love this set of stencil. Go grab it. This one, there's 50 left of this one. So you wanna go grab it while you can. Hi, Lori in Elmira, New York. Hello, hello. Okay, no, wrong way. I'm gonna tape it on the right side. And I wanna tape it equally distant. I'm gonna move this up one line. I wanna tape it equally distant so that the block is about the same distance from the words and this right here. And it's gonna be a little off. I like my things to sit a little bit high. Oh, I have to go higher than that. Good gravy. I like my things to sit a little bit high on my board. Always. It's just the way I like to do it. And that has come over time. Again, it's just you make your mind up as you go in terms of what you like and what you don't like. Make sure that you have a nice strong adhesion to your tape because that's blocking. Let's get this first one. Oh gosh, you guys, I need a fan. I'm melting, even though I shut that, shut that fireplace off, but I'm still like sweltering in here. Jeez, the light doesn't help. And I have my water, but I need to go turn the fan on here in a second. All right, I'm gonna get this first coat on. Remember what I said, I just get the paint on there. You gotta get it on there and then go back in and check your brush strokes. I went up and down. Down there, I went up and down, vertically instead of horizontally. So I wanna do the same thing here, and I'm gonna have to do a couple of coats. You just saw how pretty this is gonna be. This will make a great door tag, or, you know, we say door tag, but you could hang this anywhere in your home. It could hang, too, if you already have a wreath on your front door and it's just like a basic green or like green wreath without any design embellishments on it, this could hang on top of it, like over the top of it very nicely. Okay, look at the difference. Coat 1 versus coat 3. The color saturation is way different. You can really see it there. That's 1 coat, that's 3 coats. We gotta let this dry, and I desperately need to go turn on the fan. Thank you, Maggie. She says, I love your ideas and techniques. Thank you. You guys, if you like what you see, I'd be honored to have you come over to the Comfy Nest with Grace and follow my page. Join my free craft group. It's just a craft community where we share ideas like this. Thank you. Yes, if anybody's asking about the tag, just PM me, private message me. All right, I'm gonna go turn that dang fan on, you guys. Give me a second. I have to step over all these things that I dropped. Listen, I feel like a part of a, you know those challenges on the cooking shows where they put people in front of, like, you have 30 minutes to, not that I'm feeling constrained with time, but I feel like I'm sweltering, like I'm under pressure. It's just that the heat is on. Dang snow. I wish that I'm not a fan. I like to look at the snow. I don't like to drive in it, that's for darn sure. And I don't like the cold weather that comes with it. So those of you who still have 70s, and my sister lives in Florida and she has 85 there, or it was yesterday anyway. I wish I was there with you. We had yesterday, what was it yesterday? I think the high was like 32 or something yesterday. But that's a little chilly for my taste. Okay, I think I rushed it. We need to dry a little more. I think I went too quick. Somebody said I'm in love with it. Thank you. And Vicki, it is a big difference. Totally. So now we got to start thinking like the pretty stuff, the ribbon that will come on top. Thank you, you guys. So this is the next question. Elia said it's going to look gorgeous with a big bow. I was thinking about using a beautiful wide ribbon. Let me show you the ribbons that I pulled out. I have this one, which is a real neutral. It's really thin. It's a burlap, but it's like a gray burlap. So I have that. Oh, things may crash, boom, bang again. Whimsical. I just pulled out things that might match. I have not decided. And then this one's super feminine. Look at that. This one, I think that one would be really pretty to use as, you know, the hole on this tag is really nice and wide. So you can get a nice wide ribbon through there easily without really struggling. That's what I needed. I just needed to dry it a little more. I had it too wet. And I was trying to paint the next coat. Sometimes you know, I debate as I'm getting ready for these lives, and you guys can tell me what you think. Sometimes I debate about, should I put the first coat on before I meet up with you guys so that the time, so that it's not so much of a time during the project. But then I think if I do that, you're going to miss all of the thought process and how I measure and all that stuff. So I try not to do that unless it's going to be a really long project. I was not expecting that this paint was going to take 3 coats. So that is definitely not something I was expecting. Something funny going on right here. Yep, the paint is too thick right there for some reason. What is going on with you? I think it, there. I was really paying attention and it looked a little clumped up right there. Thank you, Lori. She says, I love your site. Thank you. See, and the copper on both sides. Vicki just said, I really like it with the copper on both sides. It frames it, right? It gives it a frame. This is called color blocking. You can do it diagonally. You can do it, you know, horizontally, vertically. It doesn't matter. Already that looks better. It is definitely going to take one more coat, but we can start thinking ribbon, right? I absolutely love this ribbon. I think it's really, really feminine. Let me show you. It's like a string of pearls, and then it has a weave of burlap, and it doesn't have a solid edge on it. So it's really like fringe on the edges. It's so pretty. I think this layered with another neutral maybe would make a really pretty bow that I could put up here and then use this as the hanger, or I could use jute, just like some twine as the hanger. You guys tell me. I'd love to hear from you and what you guys think. Because it's so neutral and it's so feminine with the pearls in it. Christine said she really loves the color blocking. Good. Copy away, girls. Copy away. These are the kind of projects that we do together in my monthly craft club too. So if you guys are interested in doing one live project a month with me, again, go over to the Comfy Nest with Grace and make sure you like and follow. Get into my free craft group so that you can follow along and maybe take advantage of that stuff. Christine says, I'm in Florida and I hate the heat. See, I think it's all what you don't have is what you wish for, right? The grass is always greener, as they say. Vicki says, send the 85 degrees to Michigan, please. Mary says, I'm with you, Texas. Kentucky is the same way. Don't know how to dress on some days. And she's replying to Mary. It's that time of year, you guys. It's cooler at night. And then it gets hot during the day or warmer during the day. Oh, and Mary says, we just need moisture in Kansas. My heart is breaking for all the fires that are going on. Oh, just terrible. Candy says, use all 3 of the ribbons. I think Christine says the one with the pearls. Yeah, I think I'm going to do a bow. I got to finish this paint job here on the bottom. I might grab one more ribbon, and I'm thinking If I could find a dark ribbon like the brown, I don't know that I have brown ribbon. I'm looking at my ribbons are across the room. I do have brown, but it's, oh, that one might work. I have a brown, but it's very metallic-y. It might actually work great. I'll use this as the base, the brown metallic in the middle, and this one as the front because it's just so gorgeous. And we'll make a little messy bow here in a minute. Oh, it's still a little tacky, girls. Gotta be patient with this stuff. I can put my brown away. I think I'm gonna use the rose gold to do something too with the letters. Or maybe at least the leaves. I just put the dryer down on my project. This is all dry. It's just this. It's a little tacky yet. And you don't want to rush it because then you're going to get that clump of paint and you don't want a clump. No clumping. You guys, sprinkle, sprinkle. It's so helpful if you'll do that. Kathy says she loves the block on the top and the bottom. All right, let's see. So you guys, ribbon. I'm all about ribbon and decorative papers and all the supplies because I'm just a craft supply lover. Yeah, that's dry enough for me to put one more coat as I tell you. I have mystery grab bags. They're crafty grab bags. I have 2 different sizes available from my website if you guys are interested. And in the large one, you get 15 yards, so 45 feet of ribbon, but it's 15 different ribbons. So this is good for those of us, I don't make wreaths, so I don't need generally 25 feet of one type of ribbon. I need maybe 6 feet, you know, like, because I want to make a couple of bows out of it. I'm not using it to make long, you know, decorative garlands, and I'm not using it to make wreaths because as a bow maker, I only need like 1.5 feet at a time. So my large one comes with 15 yards of a variety of ribbons that some are wired, some aren't, some are thin, some are wide. So if you love craft supplies, you might want to go to my site and check that out. I love putting them together, the crafty grab bags. All right, we're done with this part. I think I'm actually gonna let this dry on its own when we make the ribbon. I'm gonna put the paint aside, put my paintbrush in the water for now because I think I'm done with that. I'll put this just off a little bit to the side so we can start making a ribbon. And I'm going to use these. I feel like this is too whimsical. So although I love it, I'm going to put it aside for a minute and I'm going to grab a brown that I think is going to work. And I want to show you how I store my ribbons. Not all of them. I'm not done with converting everything to this process. I have 2 huge Rubbermaid totes full of ribbon. And what happens is, as I try to dig through them to find what I want, I get really frustrated because I can't see everything and they unspool and it just becomes a mess. So I've come up with a way that I can share with you guys for storing ribbons. This is what works for me. Oh, I'm gonna grab two of these. Okay, this is what I do, you guys. It may look silly, but when I need a ribbon, I have them kind of color-coded on these. It's twine. It's just really thick jute. I tied a really big bow, like a knot on the bottom. My sister uses buttons. After she saw mine, she's like, I'm going to do what you're doing. But she was very smart. She tied a button to the bottom. And I just put like a loop on the top. I string them on here. And then I hang them on hooks so that I can see all the ribbons that I have, and I can quickly grab the greens and see which green I might want to use, right? So here's the brown that I have that might work really well because it's got that sparkle to it. I generally use either painter's tape to hold these in place, or I use pins inside my ribbon. So a green, actually, even though we don't have any green in my project, one of these greens, like this one's kind of thin and fancy. That one might be a good one to use. Let me just do a quick, I would want my bow about 6 inches big. So here's what I do. They're all strung up here. I should take the pin out of my mouth. They're all strung up here. I think I want 2 lengths of 6 inches. So this is why I do in my crafty grab bags, I do it by the yard, because you're going to get 3 feet of each color ribbon that I send you. And when you're making a bow, generally my bows aren't bigger than 6 or 8 inches. So that's a 6-inch strip. That 3 feet is going to go a long way. Okay, so there, I got that one. I'm going to put it away. I think I'm going to use the green, but we're going to see. I'm going to see the color combination. Then I can go hang this back up on the hook, and it's out of my way. And when I look across my room at that wall that has all of these hanging, I can see them very easily. I'm going to grab a strip of this, 6 inches long each. So again, these are the kinds of things that I share over on my page. If you're in general, you love to craft and you have lots of supplies on hand, some of these tips might be helpful to you. So go ahead and copy away. If you ever share it with someone, I just would ask, it would be great if you would say, hey, I learned that from Grace over at the Comfy Nest. Because that just helps people to know more, you know, to come find me, to get more ideas. Yes, child. I have a child visiting. Good morning. He's just waking up. What time is it? Lennon, are you just getting up, honey? It's noon. He's a teenager. He's 15. Just waking up, girls. All right. I'm not sure about all these colors. I'm pulling out strips. These will get used. If I don't use them right now, they will get used otherwise. This one is 2 inches, where the green one's 2.5. So they actually would work really well together. And generally, I start from the back, and then each strip that above it, I cut just a tish shorter, because I want the back one to show. I don't want it to get lost. I want it to show, but I want to show a variety of color. I'm not measuring. I just eyeball it, and I just cut it a little bit shorter than the one above it. Now, again, I'm loving this one kind of as the star of the show because it's so gorgeous. But I wonder if that metallic wouldn't be pretty in there somewhere. So this is where I just, before I cut any more, I'm going to place this down. Because I can cut that down. I think yes. I think yes. I think yes. The brown metallic behind the burlap pearl. Oh my goodness, you guys. I'm already in love. Okay, here we go. Here we go. I'm excited. Now I'm excited. So this ribbon is kind of funny because you have to cut between the pearls. Oh, it's so pretty. So pretty. Okay. I don't know where my pin went. Hopefully I don't get stuck somehow. All right. So definitely the metallic is a little bit long, but this is what I do. I crisscross them layer upon layer. So here's the green, and then I crisscross. This is like a gray burlap, and then I crisscrossed with the metallic-y brown, and then crisscross the pearl. Now, this is the top side. I'm going to flip it so the top side is down, and I have my back side up. I'm going to grab my jute, which is right here. Actually, no, this won't work. No, I want a thinner jute. That jute that I have right there is really thick, so let me grab a thinner twine. You guys, I lost. Does this ever happen to you? What is this attached to? That's attached to a tassel, so I don't want that one. I had another whole thing of twine like this, but thinner. I like to have different thicknesses, and I lost it, like somewhere in the abyss. Has that ever happened to you? I know I have more twine somewhere. I'm gonna have to open a new one because I don't know where it went. What? That was on the inside of that? That's rather long to be monkeying around with. What the flip? Where's the... I have no patience for this, girls. I'm not even playing that game. All right, I'm just going to take a nice length of it so I'm not struggling to tie this together. And I want it to be thin because I don't want it to like compete with this at all. I have it upside down. I'm going to take my ribbon before I start tying anything. Kind of like a bow tie is scrunched up in the middle. I'm going to scrunch where the two deepest parts of this are. I'm going to scrunch these. I put my 2 index fingers in here, my thumb and my middle finger, and I scrunch it, okay? Scrunch it so that it kind of looks like a bow tie. Okay, it's going to look messy on the front. It's going to look messy until you get this all in place, okay? Scrunch it in the middle so it looks like a bow tie. I'm going to take my little twine and lay the front on top of the twine while I'm scrunching it with my finger, and then I'm going to tie it tightly. Now listen, it takes a little coordination and a little practice. So the first few times you do this, you're going to feel like an octopus that has only thumbs. Like you need more fingers and hands to get this right. But I promise you, just keep practicing it here and there and it'll come together. This really does actually look very messy with this fringed. Hold on, I'm going to loosen it up a little because I'm going to even out my ribbon. It's not quite even. And normally when you do this with like normal ribbon that doesn't have pearls on it, you can easily slide your ribbon back and forth, but because the ribbon has the pearls, it's kind of like a stopper. It's holding me from easily sliding that back and forth. So I had to loosen it before I slid it back and forth. What do you guys think of this? Do you like that? I'm going to trim it up a little. I'm going to trim these so they're a little shorter so that they're not so wild. And then the other ones in the back will show a little more. But what do you think of that so far? I love that bow. Thank you. All right, let's see. Just as a test, this is what it's probably going to look like on here. Okay. My paint job is dry. I can peel this off. That can go in the garbage. So my tag is pretty much done. Look at how pretty, you guys. And then we have to decide about the bow. And listen, I'm not sure about the pearl, you guys. It's throwing me off a little bit. The brown is needed because the brown actually is pulling in the brown from the paint. So I really feel like the brown is needed, but I'm not loving the feminine. I'm not loving the pearl. I'm going to take it off, the pearl, and we're going to see what it looks like without it. And then I think I can add the pearl in as the hanger. You tell me. I'm just going to do this real quick. This is how I work, you guys. In steps and increments, I make my mind up, and sometimes I make adjustments. Itchy nose. I make adjustments as I go. Now I have to trim my brown because it's not the right length. I think I like it better without the pearl, you guys. I like it better with just the brown in the front. But I would love to hear what you think. I think it makes the metallic brown show up better. Yeah, Mamuna says take the pearl one out. Not liking it either. Okay. You guys are all with me on that. So look at, so far, this is what we got. So now what I do, once you're satisfied, you can take the back and actually make a knot in the back. And I have my jute to hold as like a tail so I can hold it and work with it. It makes it really easy to hold that, kind of like a bouquet. Then I can take my ribbons and I can pull on them and tug on them. Here's where I will trim down. And I'm going to trim them at an angle. Trim down my brown one so that I call it giving it like a little haircut. I'm going to trim it down so that it doesn't obscure the one behind it. All right, that's much better. Much, much better. Now, I think I want something a little decorative in the middle. So I'm going to take my jute, I'm going to tie it around the front, and I'm going to create the tiniest little jute bow in the front. I had plenty of jute from the back that I was using as the tail. So I'm going to tie that in the front as the tiniest little cute bow in the front. And then, you guys, and because this is all tied on, you can make up your mind as you go. If you put on like the little jute bow on the front and you don't like it, you can always take it off. So don't get yourself too worked up over, oh, it's not turning out right. Just keep tweaking until you get it the way you want it. So far that's what I have. And I think with the jute in the front, now can I use this really pretty pearl? Let's see. I'm just going to use this as, what would it look like if I string this through here and I used this for the tie? Yes, 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 yes. With that right there. See, this is super special. It makes it really special. It was not a cheap, it was not a cheap ribbon. I think I got it from Hobby Lobby, if anybody's asking. This feminine ribbon came from Hobby Lobby. I'm going to cut a length of it. Got to get through those pearls. That's a little tricky. Okay, I cut a length of it, and now this will become my tie. That's really pretty, you guys. It is such a pretty ribbon. This will become my tie, and I usually try to tie this so that there's a little bow on top, but this is a challenging ribbon to work with. I'm not gonna lie. It's really beautiful, but because it's fringe on either side, it's fringy. In the middle is the pearl that's solidly in place. It's a little hard to tie, and you saw it in the bow. It looked a little messy tied. It didn't look pretty, it looked messy. So here's what I'm gonna do. Instead of tying that together, you guys, with itself, I'm gonna tie it with just a piece of twine. It's gonna get lost in there. So here's what I'm doing. I spaced it out evenly. I'm gonna use a little piece of twine, and I'm gonna tie this together. I'm actually gonna tie it from the back so that the knot's in the back. So it's just gonna look tethered together up top, but I don't have to like ruin the ribbon. I just put a knot on the top. Let's see if this is gonna work. There's that pearl really works to like hold everything in place. It's like a little stopper. So this jute that I use, the twine that I use to hold that together up there, I can just cut that to length, same length as the rest of the ribbon. And then it's as if though it's not even there. So I just tied it off up top. And then let's get our little ribbon on, and we are done, you guys. We are done. I think this would be really fun to give away. I'm gonna give this away, you guys, and I can tell you guys love it. I can tell you love it. It's just different, and it's unique, totally unique. I'm gonna give it away in my Crafty Chicks group. So what I usually do, and I don't do this very often, but what I usually do is I'll make something. If you guys are really loving it, I'll make it available as a giveaway in my Crafty Chicks group. So I'll tell you, if you're not in the group, get in the group. Just follow the link that's in the description of this video. It's free to join, just request to join. Usually when I do that, we have about 30, 40 people who want to get in, and just be patient because I do look at every person and I ask you to answer some questions because I want to make sure that you're going in there for good reasons and not like a creeper. So give me a chance to get through all of those. I will not give it away until all those people are in there. And then what I ask you to do is just find the post. I'll post a picture of it in the group so that the other members have a chance too. And you just have to comment on the post, and then your name goes in to win it, okay? So, and I'll send it in the mail to someone as a gift. Let me just get the little bow on. Here's what it's gonna look like. I'm so glad you guys love it. I can see the comments and the little hearts flying by, and that makes me feel so happy. Let's get this on there. I just have to decide. I think I'm gonna glue it right underneath the hole so that it kind of hides the hole. And you can see on these boards, the hole is a really nice size. So it's really easy to get things through there very easily. Let me get a nice big gob of, and I usually put it on my bow, the gob of glue. I usually put it on the bow and then stick it on there. And then hold it down while it cools off. I think that Essential Stencils probably gone through all the comments to choose 3 winners for a set of stencils today. Hey, listen, if you get a gob of glue under there, while it's still warm, go ahead and pick that out of there. I don't like gobs of glue like oozing out of a project, so I try to grab it and get rid of it as soon as possible. Look at how special that is, you guys. How special. There's my metallic rose gold. Oh my gosh, I'm loving the bow, you guys. I'm loving it. And I think that really simple little piece of twine really ties together with the hanger. But the hanger is really special. I'm so glad you guys like it. Thank you, thank you. All right, so if you want to win it, go into my Crafty Chicks Club. Sometime today I'll post the picture of this, and then you just have to comment on that to be entered to win. That's how I do it. It's just easy and fun. All right, so Essential Stencil says, congratulations, winners. Here are our winners. Vicki McMinn, Becky Lindstrom Ross, and Gail Kinsella. The 3 of you just won a set of stencils. Now listen, congratulations, ladies. The email address that you need to message them, your mailing address and your email address, it's in the comments. So just email support@essentialstencil.com with that info, and they will send you a set of stencils. Replay watchers, if you're watching this within 24 hours of the broadcast, make sure that you comment replay, and then they will choose another winner from the replay watchers. So you still have a chance to win. Just make sure you comment replay. Oh, you guys are always so sweet. You guys are always so sweet saying, congratulations, you're such good sports. Because everybody wants to win, right? You have another chance to win this. Jump on over into my Crafty Chicks group. Look for this post. It will be in the announcements pinned to the top for a couple of days. And in a couple of days, I'll choose a winner for this. Okay? Thanks for being here, you guys. Thanks for being patient as I worked through my heat swells and my crash, boom, bang of everything that falls around me as I'm working. Carolyn, you're right. She said the shimmer ribbon really sets it off, right? I had to make that in the front because otherwise, even though this was so gorgeous, that all got lost. It was just too much with that other ribbon in front. All right, you guys, have a beautiful, blessed day. Stay safe and healthy. Come on over and join me at the Comfy Nest with Grace. Make sure you get on Essential Stencils text alerts so that when we go live as brand ambassadors, you get a notification, even if you're not on Facebook. If you're just chilling out watching TV or reading a book and someone goes live, you'll get a little text message, and then you can join us here on Essential Stencil on Facebook. You guys have a great day. Take care. Bye.